you start the book with this story this scene of you and your partner, Daniel Helm. You're sitting at the 2010 World's Best 50 Best Restaurants event, and it's in London.
Yes.
It's like the Olympics for restaurants or the Oscars, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you all are doing what people do, like, do you think we're gonna come in? How are we gonna place? And you thought you were gonna place what?
Like 35.
35 out of 50.
And an expression of humility, but also confidence, right? It was our first year on the list.
Right. And then your partner said, no, 40.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So picture this. It's got to be exciting to get the call, though, right? That you're one of the 50 best restaurants in the world.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I think everyone has one of these moments, right? Those that they can recall with extreme detail because they were that profound in their story. And I remember getting the letter inviting us to London and celebrating that we were on that list. And so, of course, we went.
Yeah.
Now, the awards, they're a lot like the Oscars. Okay, you're in this larger-than-life auditorium surrounded by your heroes in your fanciest tuxedo, the whole nine.
Yeah.
But different from the Oscars in one notable way. At the Oscars, I'd imagine, when you're nominated for an award, once they get to your category, you're desperate that they call your name.
Yes.
Here, if you're in the room, you already know you're one of the best, the 50 best. You just don't know where on the list you fall.
I think that, too, about the Oscars. Everyone in here is great because you're nominated, and there's just 5 people in your category.
But at those awards, you're desperate that they call your name.
Yes.
Here, they start at 50. They slowly count down to 1. Here, you're desperate that they do not call your name for as long as humanly possible. And I remember I'm all fired up, and then the big British MC at the front of the room, he says, all right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to start the countdown. At number 50, a new entry from New York City, 11 Madison Park. I was like, gosh, darn it. Turns out where you're seated has nothing to do with where you place. We'd come literally in last place. And
did you realize at the time your face is up on the screen?
Yeah.
So you all didn't have that, oh, it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Everyone else knew to at least pretend to smile and wave. Guys, I looked like I'd just gotten kicked in the groin. One of my dad's favorite quotes that I cherish and reference often is, adversity is a terrible thing to waste. And that night, we were one of the 50 best in the world, but in that room, we were last. And I was angry, frustrated, sad, but now I look back on that last place finish with gratitude, because I don't believe we would have gone on to do what we did next had it not been for that dose of disappointment.
So you and your partner left, and I think one of the other chefs saw you and started, chuckling when he saw you. He's like, oh, gosh, you guys didn't take that so well. And then you guys went and got a bottle of bourbon.
Yeah.
Yep.
As one does.
As one does. And during the process of drinking the bourbon and talking about why you came in last place, something happened.
Yeah, we went through all the stages of grief, but ultimately landing on acceptance. Because here's the deal. At that point, our food was pretty extraordinary. Our service was about as close to technically perfect as possible. The dining room was amazing. And it was for those reasons that we were on that list. But when we paused for long enough to really think about it, it became quite clear we had not done anything impactful. And I think, listen, it's absurd to say one restaurant is the best in the world. When you earn the top spot on that list, what it really means is you are a restaurant making an impact. And so I thought about the restaurants that had been number one. They were all run by chefs. Chefs who were unreasonable in pursuit of the food they were serving, their product, and relentless in pursuit of innovation. What new ingredients could they cook with? What new techniques could they develop? And each of them, in their own way, has influenced how restaurants around the world approach cooking. That night, I wrote on a cocktail napkin, we will be number one in the world. But a goal without a strategy, that's nothing more than a pipe dream. And so I thought about those chefs. If they were unreasonable in pursuit of product and relentless in pursuit of change, we were going to be unreasonable in pursuit of people and relentless in pursuit of the one thing that will never change, which is our human desire to feel seen, to feel cared for.
Yeah.
And so that's when I wrote Unreasonable Hospitality.
So you wrote this on a napkin.
Yeah.
Yeah, after a lot of bourbon. But it turned out to be a book.
Yeah.
Something very meaningful. Let's share with our audience this moment. You were 12 years old and your dad took you to Four Seasons.
Yeah.
Because I always love how a seed is planted and all of us, start out as little acorns and blossom into our own version of the oak tree. And this happened with you at the first time your dad took you to the Four Seasons restaurant here in New York.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, so I grew up in hospitality. My dad was a restaurateur. My mom was a flight attendant with American Airlines. And it's just all I've known. But when I was a little kid, my mom was diagnosed with brain cancer. And the radiation treatments she received ultimately rendered her to becoming a quadriplegic. And gosh, my dad, he is just amazing. I mean, watching him work restaurant hours, watching him be a good dad to me, watching him care for her, he was my hero. And it honestly did not.
When you say restaurant hours, explain that to the rest of the audience who doesn't know.
For people who don't know, restaurateurs work a tremendous number of hours.
Yeah.
Like 14, 15 hours a day.
Yeah.
It didn't matter what he did for a living. That's what I would have wanted to do. But it just so happened I started falling in love with it by going to work with him. And when I was 12, he said, hey, if you really want to do this, you need to experience the best. And so he took me to the Four Seasons for dinner. And I honestly don't remember a ton about that night. I remember the blazer. I made him get me that Brooks Brothers blazer with the gold buttons.
Yeah.
I remember it was the first time in my life that I dropped a napkin and someone gave me a new one and called me sir. I remember they carved a duck for us tableside, but what I really remember was how they made us feel. Because for whatever it was, a couple hours that I was there across that table from this man who meant everything to me, the entire world was put on pause. And I felt so very connected to him. And it was the first time I realized firsthand the extent to which, through hospitality, whether it's in restaurants or any industry, you can create magic for people.
Yeah.
And literally at that age, I knew that's what I wanted to do with my life.
Well, I loved reading this book. And one of the reasons I appreciated it so much is because it reminded me of our years on the Oprah show with my team, the producers, best team in television.
Yes.
And this is the way we viewed our audience, as though our audience were guests who were coming to see us. And the experience from the toilet paper in the bathroom being, rolled under and not over, and all, everything being like you were coming to visit us, and this is our welcome to you, to be a part of our conversation, our family of conversation in that moment.
Well, you introduced surprise and delight into a world that was not accustomed to receiving it.
Yeah, well, that's what Favorite Things was all about.
Yeah.
Surprise and delight.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people who were in those audiences for Favorite Things. Everybody wanted to be in there to get the stuff. You don't remember the stuff, but you remember the moment.
Yeah.
You remember the surprise and you remember the delight.
It's the quote by Maya Angelou.
Yes.
People will forget what you say, they will forget what you do, but they will never forget how you made them feel.
Yes.
And I think that is, in a nutshell, hospitality and what we all have an opportunity to give to, well, everyone around us every single day.
Yeah.